Hi students, today we are going to make some salt dough insects like snails and ladybirds. There are a few things that you need to prepare. You need to have a tray. This is so that you keep your workspace a little bit clean and tidy. If you do not have a tray, it's okay, just layer some newspaper on your table. You need some salt, flour, and a container to mix our salt dough mixture. And you need a measuring cup. And of course, lastly, a cup of water. You need something that you can make textures inside the salt dough later on. I have a pencil, but you can use a brush or a chopstick. Those are fine. So first thing, let's measure out our ingredients. You need a quarter cup of salt, a quarter cup of water, and half a cup of flour. Let's put all the dry ingredients into this container first, and then we'll add the water later on. So again, a quarter cup of salt. There, I have my quarter cup of salt ready. Just pour it into this container. And then you need half a cup of flour. Let's put this aside. If you're doing this in a very windy place, you want to turn off your fan or else the flour is going to go everywhere. Half a cup in. And then lastly, a quarter cup of water. Oh, I forgot to get a spoon. Then just use a spoon to mix everything together. You want to make sure that you mix it well. Try to make all the lumps disappear. Make sure all the dry pieces of flour gets mixed in properly. Once it's pretty much mixed, then you can go ahead and use your hand to knead it. If you find that your dough is sticking to your finger a little bit too much, you want to add a bit more flour. And if your salt dough is very crumbly and very dry, give it a knead for a few more seconds, and if it's still crumbling, just add a bit of water. Oh dear, mine is still very sticky, so I need to add a bit more flour. Once you have achieved the right consistency where it's not sticking to your hands anymore and it's not crumbly, you can start working your salt dough. Let's pinch out a tiny bit first. We are going to first make our ladybird. Okay, once you have pinched out something like a ball, a ping pong ball, we are going to roll it. So just put two hands and do this kind of motion. You want to make a ball first. Once it's almost like a ball, you kind of want to pinch the sides a little bit to make it look like a little bit of oval shape. And then you kind of press down. You don't want to press down too hard like this, or you get a small weird indentation. You want to press down gently. Make sure you cover all the sides. You can also put it on the pan or your tray and pat it down nicely. If you find that it's very hard to pick it up, it's because the thing is sticking to the pan. So what I recommend is you put a layer of newspaper at the bottom so that it doesn't stick. There, once the shape is something like an oval like this, it's time for us to make the texture. I have a few things over here that I can make texture with. I have a brush, a pencil, I even have a straw. So ladybirds, they have black spots all over their body, right? So I'm gonna use maybe a pencil or a straw to make some, maybe let's make some eye first. Let's poke two eyes over here, over here. Now be careful not to poke all the way through the back of the salt dough or else it'll break. Just poke it slightly and that's enough. And then let's get a ruler. I'm gonna poke a line over here, just a small line like that. And then I'm gonna put another line in the middle, like that. Next, I'm gonna use either a brush or a pencil that has a round kind of backing behind it, and then just press down. You can also try with a straw. Let's see what kind of texture that makes. And there, my ladybird is done. You can make a few more if you want because there's so much salt dough left. Next, we are going to make a snail. So same thing, rip out a small piece, something like this. You want to make it long. So what you need to do is just go like this, in this motion. If the bottom part is slowly coming down, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Just let it drop down. You want to keep working until it becomes smaller and smaller. And you see, you have something that looks like this. I know it looks a bit funny. I think some of you are already coming up with funny ideas about what this looks like. So you want to keep it small on one side and big on the other side. And then what you need to do is, we're going to flatten it a little bit, just a tiny bit, not too much. Now see, mine is very smooth, right? Next, I'm going to tilt up the tail over here and roll it inwards. Roll, 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 roll. Slowly. If your salt dough is sticking to the pan, just put a piece of paper at the bottom. And there you go, you got a snail shell. Isn't this cute? Do you know what kind of line this is called? It's called a spiral line. I'm going to put this down. Let's make the snail body. Rip out a tiny piece. The snail body is the same thing as well. You want to roll it until there's a long strand coming out. Just keep rolling, becoming smaller and smaller until it's something like this. And then same thing, you want to flatten it. And then just put this on top. If it's not sticking, you can add a bit of water to make sure that it sticks. Once your shell is on top nicely, you want to take this part and put it on top. This is going to be the head. You kind of pinch it a little bit to make it smaller. Kind of juts out as well. And then just pinch it down like that. And then just add the eyes. And there you have a very cute snail. Go ahead and make more with all the extra salt dough. There are two ways for you to dry this salt dough. One of the method is to put it in the oven and let it bake slowly for a few hours. But if your salt dough is very thick, like mine, I'll just leave it air dry for a few days to a week. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a little ladybug again. Show me what other insects that you can think of making. Once this has dried for up to a week or two, then we'll paint it with a layer of colors. And then to make it last a bit longer, you can seal it with a layer of white glue.